Kayla Spelling, Kentucky-born, wild-haired, green-eyed, and endlessly creative. By day, I'm a photographer and videographer, but by night, I'm a midnight designer, always chasing the next story to tell. As an Aquarian sun and lifelong creative junkie, my passion for visual storytelling has taken me across industries, working with incredible minds who push the boundaries of art, media, and self-expression. But what drives them? What sparks their journey beyond the typical 9-to-5 grind? That's what we're here to explore. This season, we're diving even deeper into the creative universe. Spirituality, writing, tattooing, culinary arts, travel, music, media, and so much more. Expect surprises, real talk, and inspiration to fuel your own creative path. So, are you ready for another wild ride? Let's do this. Welcome back to the Creative Junk Podcast. I'm your host, Kayla Spelling, and today's episode is something truly special, and I'm so sorry that it's taken me so long to get this episode out. I've been undergoing a pretty bad cold. I'm still a little nasally. I don't know if you guys can hear that on your end, but I couldn't wait any longer. So we're diving into the transformative power of self-defense, empowerment, and healing, not just as concepts, but as lived experiences that reshape lives. I'm honored to be joined by two incredible women, Lindsey Falcon and Lauren Bailey, the co-founders of Thrive Empowerment Center in Northern Kentucky. Thrive is more than just a self-defense program. It's a trauma-informed, empowerment-driven space where the people are given the tools to reclaim their power, rebuild their confidence, and rewrite their story. Lindsey and Lauren are both certified self-defense instructors, but what sets them apart is their heart-centered, inclusive approach. Whether you're a survivor, a beginner, someone looking for community, or just wanting to walk through the world with more confidence, Thrive offers a place to do that with support, strength, and zero judgment. In this episode, we talk about what real empowerment looks like, how creative expression shows up in their work, and why it's so important to create safe, affirming spaces, especially for women, LGBTQ+ individuals, and anyone who's been made to feel small in the face of violence or fear. This conversation is one of resilience, advocacy, community, and the reminder that we all deserve to feel safe in our bodies and in the world. Whether you've taken a self-defense class or this is all new to you, I hope you walk away from this episode feeling a little more empowered and a whole lot inspired. Let's get into it. But yeah, I was actually looking on your website and I saw that you guys have a class that's today that launched or is launching. It's like the 5-week series you guys are doing, the My Voice.
Yeah, Hear My Voice.
Yeah. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, actually, we're really excited because this is the first out of all of our self-defense classes that we are not actually running. We are going to be on the call, but it is our trainees or our newer instructors. It is their first time where they are going to lead it all. So what it is it's all of the things that we love about our normal self-defense. We've just removed the physical side of it. So it's more of the mental and the verbal, but it's more about self-esteem building and building community and that our voices are really powerful. I think sometimes we forget that our voices are super powerful, and there's so many layers to that, where it's like we talk about how we talk to ourselves, how we talk to each other, and kind of how we go from there to change the culture with our voices.
Yeah, I kind of feel like perfect timing, right? Just given everything going on. I was even thinking about that today with this episode. I know we've had to reschedule a few times due to, either scheduling conflicts. Of course, I had a couple people that passed away last year, which I'm thankful for you guys' patience with that. But I feel like a lot of my episodes that I've been doing recently, been recording, it's so timely with like things that are just going on. I feel like especially a class like that is so important right now for not even just the US political climate, but just globally, right? And just really coming true to yourself and finding your true voice. And so I think that's really cool that you guys are offering that and showing the different ways and how you can use your voice. But yeah, with us, just to let listeners know, it was just funny how I stumbled upon you guys. I was diving into Reiki healing, which is just one of my things that I can do. And I just felt like drawn to looking at some different organizations in the Northern Kentucky area that I felt that could use the support in that regard. And I wasn't sure how open you guys would be to it, but then kind of looking at the different classes that you offered, I was like, you know what, they might be interested in a spiritual side of healing, which I remember we had talked about that, how you guys have your different pillars in your organization and how that, that does fit in there. Like that's one of them. But I was so drawn to your guys' organization because being a woman myself, I had gone through some trauma in my life. And to know that there is a great organization like yours in the North Kentucky area that is supporting all different kinds of people. So it's not just women, it's all different kinds of people who, whether they've gone through traumatic experiences or not, like they're just looking for that self-confidence boost. They're looking for that support in that community. I was just really inspired by you guys. So I wanted to have you guys on this podcast so you guys could really share what you do with the world. And hopefully that will catch fire, in the area, and you'll have people that will come to you because they'll feel welcome and, wanting to open up their voices or, even just learning to defend themselves or, just finding that community. Because I think community is also really important right now.
I think Lindsey says, she puts it in a great way to like encapsulate what we hope for the people that come through our door is we just want people to take up more space, especially for those of us socialized as women, like so much of the messaging that we get around safety, or around being a proper female, is about kind of living within this box or like a list of things that you shouldn't do if you want to be safe, and so I think, whether you come to Thrive for self-defense or for the Badass Bibliophiles book club, we just want people to feel like they get to take up more space with their bodies, with their voices, with their true identities. I think that like, that's what empowerment means to us.
Yeah. So could you guys talk to me? Let's start with your guys' background and, what you guys do at Thrive Empowerment. Then let's also talk about the formation of Thrive and how that got started.
Yeah. Lauren, you want to go first?
No, I was going to ask you if you wanted to go first.
Yeah. So you want background of Lindsey. Cool.
Yeah, I would love it.
So my background, I grew up in Cincinnati. And we did a different podcast long ago, and it was early in my healing journey. And I was like, I had the best childhood ever, through therapy and a lot of realizations. That may have not been the case. So my childhood was a little chaotic. I was, I think the term is a latchkey kid. I was a latchkey kid. So ran around the neighborhood. Luckily, I hung out with good kids. So I stayed out of legal trouble and did not get into drugs or anything like that, but it's still pretty chaotic. But I was a very, very determined kid, very outspoken, very bold, and then became a young adult. And as a lot of us do as young adults, we go trying to find the world, and instead we find a boy or a person. Mm-hmm. And so I found who I thought was my person, but instead became the center of all of my trauma. I entered a severely violent domestic situation. I think isolation is very, very strong, and it was very easy to isolate me. And because of that, I ended up staying, and it took me 5 years to get away from him. And so I did, and tried some other things here and there to try to figure out what my worth was. And the only thing that really stuck was martial arts. So I started martial arts, and figured out that my body was powerful. And then started a journey of figuring out that my brain was powerful, although that took me probably another 10 years to figure out. But I think what martial arts gave me was I was able to reclaim a lot of my power back through martial arts, but mainly because I created my own sense of community. I met new friends that had nothing to do with my abuser or my job. It was just people that liked me for me. And so I think when you spend majority of your time around people that make you feel like solid gold, you start to kind of believe that you're less than you're a little more than garbage. And I met Lauren there, and Lauren told me that I was incredible, and she told me that every day for like 10 years. And so about around year 7, I started to believe in it.
Hey, at least you got there, right?
Yeah. And then I'm going to pause there because the rest is Thrive, and it's Lauren's turn. So that's my background.
One of the really cool things about being best friends and business partners with Lindsey is she and I are totally yin and yang. And I was thinking about this the other day, in that, like, I also had a chaotic childhood, but where we differ, we both have tons of daddy issues, but where we differ is that Lindsey got told by teachers that she wasn't smart, but she was an athlete. And so like she didn't trust her mental capacity, but she trusted her body. And I was the exact opposite. I was like a book smart kid. I played sports, but I never got any like positive feedback for them. In fact, I once had a basketball coach tell me when I couldn't get a play, because I'm a kinesthetic learner instead of like you just tell me what to do. I couldn't get a play, and she said, "You're the dumbest smart kid I know." Yep. And so like that, like by the time I met Lindsey, a lot of like what I was struggling with was no faith or confidence in my body whatsoever. And like the chaotic childhood that I had, like the way that played out for me, rather than being in a violent relationship with somebody else, I was in a violent relationship with myself. I struggled with an eating disorder for many years, and just like turned all that anxiety and hatred into like self-loathing, and just pushed myself, but never felt good enough. And so, what finally led me to martial arts was I was in my early 30s. I had just had 2 kids, and they were really little. And I just felt so weak. And like if anything ever happened, like where I needed to protect them, I knew I would freeze and I would fail. And that like terror of failing them propelled me to get some training. I was like, well, I'm a smart kid. I have to learn my way out of this. And so when I got to our tiny little dojo where Lindsey and I met in Northern Kentucky, actually, when Lindsey started like a month after I did, and I love to tell this story because she was the only other girl there, even though we're like 12 years apart in age. She was the only other woman in our class. And so naturally we got stuck together. And like, she's this tough 20-something who wore boots and leather jackets. And I remember going home to my husband and being like, there's this girl and she hits so hard and I don't think I can hang with her. And he was like, well, you're going to have to be her friend. And I was like, yeah.
You make me sound so cool.
Yeah, you were so cool to me.
Combat boots, leather jacket.
Yeah. You know, like, and I just pictured, I was a book editor. So like, I'm a book editor and a mom, right? And Lindsey like basically came riding in on her Harley with a cigar hanging out of her mouth, as far as like my memory is concerned.
The visual of this is so good.
Yeah. But like, I think the cool thing about our early friendship is, you know, and even one of our martial arts instructors was like, go easy on Lauren, like go easy on her. Which just reinforced that she's weak and she can't handle it.
Of course.
And Lindsey was the first person to be like, I've seen those gym thighs. Like, you are not weak. You are really strong. And she would be like, I'm dumb and I have dyslexia. And I'd be like, that's not, do you hear the conversation we just had? And so we were
so
really
funny
like,
that we have like early on, Lauren grew up as a nerd and
Yep.
she read books for recreation. I grew up as an athlete and a tough bully. Now, Lauren is athletic and does all the sports and all the physical stuff. And now I read books and look at academic records for recreation. We have completely 180 to who we are.
I like to think of us as more balanced individually now. But like, I think that's been really great for us because, that core of Thrive is, strength, support, community. That's our tagline, right? And I think we found so much strength in each other and so much support in each other, and that positive community that Lindsey was talking about, we called it our fight club, the little group of adults that we're at this tiny dojo that we started at. And like feeling like we were finally seen for our whole selves, not just like a part of ourselves. And that was so transformational for us that it was like, I remember just feeling like I've been given this gift and it's my responsibility to make's not the right word, but to help or to foster this feeling in anybody else who's lacking this, who wants it. And it's the same way with self-defense, like, and us learning empowerment, self-defense. Like, we felt like we'd been given this gift in our martial arts skills, and we had a responsibility to share those with whoever felt vulnerable and wanted to take up more space and to, like, own their own body and feel safer moving around the world. So it was really cool. It was a cool journey we've been on.
Guess what? It's that time. Time to hit pause and catch a special message from one of our awesome sponsors. Step into a world of magic and rejuvenation with Wicked Obscura, a women-owned apothecary and candle shop based in Covington, Kentucky. As one of the proud owners, I can tell you, we pour our hearts into everything we create, blending nature's power with spiritual wellness in every handcrafted product. Our candles, made from a coconut soy blend and infused with herbs and crystals, offer more than just an unforgettable scent. They bring peace, magic, and good vibes into any space. With crackling wood wicks and safe ingredients, each candle fills your home with a touch of light and enchantment. Are you ready to experience the true essence of Wicked Obscura? Use code CreativelyWicked for 15% off your next purchase. Shop at wickedobscura.com and let the magic begin. Yeah, I love that. I love, like you were saying, like the yin and yang, synchronicity there. Like, obviously you guys just really gravitated to, obviously you were two women in this class, but you also gravitated to each other for a reason. And now you've created this really awesome facility. So tell me more about Thrive and all the different things that you guys do. Explain a little bit more about your pillars.
Yeah, so I think of Thrive as it's the cool kids table for all the cool kids that were actually cool that never got to sit at the cool kid table. It's just the place that you just get to be authentically you. I think when Lauren and I started this, I think we designed exactly what we thought we wanted. We designed something that we both needed in certain times of our lives. And we thought it was going to be just this tiny little thing. And now it's turned into, we were just having a conversation about this, but it stopped being about us a really long time ago. And now it's about the people that walk in. Like they are each other's community. We just now are like the people that vacuum the mat afterwards.
Yeah.
But Yeah, so the pillars were, when we first started, it was strength, support, and community. And the strength is the strength within yourself, knowing that you are capable of taking up space in the world. And Lauren kind of brought it up, but there's a lot of crappy people out there taking up a lot of space. And it's because the good people don't take enough space up, because we've been told for so long that we don't get to take up space. You don't get to use your voice. You don't get to make waves. So I think a huge part of it is strength, and whatever that looks like for you, whether it's you need confidence in your body or you need confidence in your mind. And then support is the resources and knowing that you don't have to kind of sail this ship alone. And then I think that also goes into the community part of it, is what combats isolation is community, is having in good, authentic community, not community that like we're not keeping up with the Joneses. We wear sweatpants and hoodies and no makeup and jujitsu hair, and we're authentic. And when we're like, hey, what'd you do well today? And somebody's answer is, I got out of bed and I got here. Like, we celebrate that, because yeah, sometimes it's really hard. So that would be my definition of all of it. Lauren, what are your pillars?
Yeah. Well, no, you said it exactly right. That kind of like thinking about it like evolutionarily, we started out as self-defense instructors. We teach a really specific curriculum called Empowerment Self-Defense, which puts more emphasis on mental and verbal. I mean, we do the physical stuff. It's like gross motor movements that you can do under adrenaline stress. But really for us, self-defense starts with trusting your intuition and using your voice. And we know even from research, because there has been quite a bit of research done on empowerment self-defense, trusting our intuition and using our voice are the most effective forms of self-defense. The physical part is a last resort. It's fun to hit pads, but if we trust ourselves and we use our voices, a lot of times, we can stop things in their tracks, like before they escalate. So we started out as self-defense instructors, and we started out teaching in public libraries before we had any space. And then we noticed after, 5 or 6 library classes on Saturday mornings that we were getting a lot of disclosures in those circles, because we're vulnerable and honest about who we are from the get-go. And I think people are really hungry for that, and also grateful to be in a space where they could also say their me too, without fear of judgment or, whatever. And so we were getting a lot of disclosures, and then also nobody wanted to leave. Like, women were just hanging out, exchanging phone numbers, talking to each other, asking us questions. And Lindsey and I were kind of like, oh, what we actually need is a community center. And then as we started, Lindsey already had she had a background in psychology and had already done some work with kids with complex trauma. I had no background. I mean, I was a book editor for 20 years, and I did quite a bit of counseling, authors off the ledge type of thing. Actually received a suicide note one year as an editorial director. So, I guess it was psychology adjacent. But didn't have the formal training that Lindsey had. So I just started reading all these books. And what really got me excited was that mind-body connection, that we talked with you about, Kayla, in the very early days when you walked through our door, and how, I think that part of why everyone feels so disconnected and disillusioned and isolated in the modern world, is that we have separated our brains and our bodies, kind of just as Lindsey did, body friend, brain enemy, or vice versa. I'm a therapist now. Talk therapy is great. It helps a lot of people, but it's a piece of the puzzle. It's not the whole puzzle. And when we started looking at somatics, and other non-traditional or like, cutting edge healing modalities, like so many of the things that people were starting to pay attention to. Like people have, talked about trauma conscious yoga for quite a while, but like it doesn't stop at yoga. Like there's trauma informed martial arts, there's trauma informed strength training, there's trauma informed dance, like all these movement arts. And then like you were talking about like the Reiki and, somatic experiencing and, like people are doing all these different things that are helping, to heal bodies and hearts and like putting those pieces back together in each other's bodies and like, and bringing the body and the brain back online together. And so we got really interested in, like how we could use kind of the movement of martial arts and, and other such things, like really as a support to people's healing journeys. And so then we really started thinking bigger. Like if we're not just doing self-defense, what else could we offer that might be a support to people, like either on their healing journey if they've experienced trauma, or just like you were saying earlier, Kayla, even if they don't consider themselves a trauma survivor of some kind, just like on their path to self-growth or discovery or whatever language, people want to use. So that was really like after when it stopped being only empowerment self-defense, then we started looking at like, okay, what about yoga? What about massage? What about dance? What about trauma-informed martial arts? What about strength training? And those are the things that now are all under Thrive's umbrella. And then we partner with some, like Art Equals, which is another organization in Covington in Northern Kentucky that does like art therapy. So like they might come in and do a thing because, what Lindsey and I's like healing path, we needed to hit something, but that's not everybody's healing path, Right. I have friends that have danced it out and eaten fire and, done other cool things. It's really like Lindsey said earlier, whatever makes you feel like solid gold, like whatever gets your brain and body back online together, or like dials in your interoceptive awareness or whatever, like, we are all for that. Lindsey says, if it's under the umbrella of empowerment, we are all for it.
Love that. So my next question was going to be the Northern Kentucky area. Like, do you guys really feel that support in like Covington? Like, I know you guys mentioned that art center. I know NKY Pride Center is right around the corner from you guys. So do you feel like it's a pretty supportive community there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the greater Cincinnati area we are so lucky to have so many different resources and resources that want to partner together. I feel like we have met so many people that don't have the same mission, but have parallel missions and are very open. During our COVID time, we opened a business right as the whole world shut down, because that's what you do with a small business.
Mm-hmm. We did the same with Wicked Obscura. Like we started it in January and we're like, oh, this year's gonna be great. It's our first year of business, which surprisingly we actually did good because people were home and they were like, I guess we're going to go shopping. And they just bought stuff. Yeah. So it did work out. But yeah, we were those people as well that we started a business during the pandemic.
Yeah. Well, we started a self-defense in person.
Yeah, you have to be physical.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But, it worked out because we spent a lot of our time. Lauren had this ingenious idea on how to like network with people, but in a non-sketchy way, because we're not trying to sell our product to them. We're not trying to like anything except we just want to know them. We also wanted to be able to be like, oh, we have this friend at this place that does this. Because we knew, like Lauren was saying, we knew that we weren't attorneys. We knew that we weren't doctors. We weren't these people. We weren't a crisis center, but we wanted to make sure that we had the connections to those people. And we had friends with those people so that we could, share the community. So we went on so many virtual coffees with every resource that we possibly could find, made a ton of friends, and like friends that we are still very connected with now. So in Greater Cincinnati, we have places like Women Helping Women on the Ohio side. On the Ohio and Kentucky side, we have Family Nurturing Center, which is a great resource. The Ion Center, which used to be the Women's Crisis Center. And I could just keep going with this list. And what's really cool is Lauren, when she first met me, how this all started, how all of the things, our friendship, our business, everything, was we were taking a martial arts road trip to Chicago. She gets in my car and she goes, all right, we have 5 hours. Tell me your whole life story. From the moment that I met her, she has always been, what's your story? Lauren was a book editor. She wasn't. She was a therapist, and she just did therapy through reading people's stories in their books. And so stories were always important to her. So when we had virtual coffees with people or in-person coffees, her first thing would be like, okay, tell me your story. And we would let them tell us their stories. And the amount of people that like cried about their trauma and stuff like that. We did it to you, Kayla. Yeah. We were like, what's your story? Yeah. It was really cool, which like, I think when you open that container to let somebody be vulnerable with you, that means you get to be vulnerable with them. And again, it comes back to taking more space. When you give somebody permission to be authentically them, you get to be authentically you. So within that, we've made so many incredible connections. And it helps that we are physically located across the street from the Ion Center and right next to the NKY Pride and Esperanza Center. But yeah, Northern Kentucky and Cincinnati, we just have awesome things. And they're just like, I think John F. Acuff, back in the day when I worked in ministry, he said, what breaks your heart and what are you going to do about it? And I think that we have just surrounded ourselves with people that are doing something about their broken heart, no matter what that is. So
I think you brought up the vulnerability aspect. And I think that's like one of the biggest missing pieces in our culture, that our generations, I think it's starting to get better with these younger generations, but millennials and past, like in the past, being vulnerable has always been looked down upon, which is why we haven't had voices, right? A lot of us have silenced ourselves in some ways or, in other aspects. So I'm just so glad to hear that you guys, even just through casual, like you're helping people express that vulnerability, even by just meeting them. It's not even like they're at your center. It's like you just are having a little coffee outing. It's like, okay, like you tell me what's going on with your life. Like, who are you? And opening that up. I think that's just something we all need to be doing with each other and teaching that to each other. It's like a re-education, right? It's like kind of breaking down those old fundamentals that were like hammered into us. And it's like re-educating our collective, to be vulnerable, to be open with each other and to express what we're feeling. It's okay to cry. And even if you're reacting and you may think it's like illogical to be mad in that way, like you have that feeling for a reason. Just be mad or, just freaking cry, whatever. Maybe it is hormones, but it doesn't matter. Like just cry, like it's okay to express yourself in the way that you need to express yourself.
100%. And I'm so glad that you said that, Kayla. And, Lindsey and I have had a conversation for like probably the last couple of years about how we don't know if it's a character flaw, but like we can't do small talk anymore. And I don't know if you have found this also to be true, like because of the work you do, Kayla, where it's like once you have started like opening that door for people to like show their true selves to you and you reciprocate, then it's so frustrating to sit with somebody that it will like that you can't get past surface talk with. And like I had a couple years ago, I went on like a girls trip with some of the women that I like went to college with and friends that I'd had, their friends that I had since then that, like I've known for, 20 years. So we took this wonderful girls trip to like Colorado to go whitewater rafting and camping together, like perfect time for like soul searching, right? So it was like a 3 or 4 day trip. And we got to like the third day and nobody was talking about what was really going on in their lives. And so like we're at breakfast on that third day And, we're talking about books, we're talking about what TV, like whatever. And all of a sudden I'm like, what are we doing? Like we never get to see each other. We've been together for 3 days. What is keeping you up at night? And my one friend just bursts into tears. And I'm like, damn it, here we are. And now we've wasted so much time, And so like, I really struggle to sit in space with people who are like, just telling you what they're watching on TV, oh, have you seen this funny TikTok? Like, don't care. I want to know what's keeping you up at night. And, and when I do find people that we just like can dive right in, I feel like that's the connection that I really crave. And like, those are the relationships that are gonna like withstand the test of time. And I hope, like you said, that we're starting to like change the expectation that when you say, how are you? You're not just supposed to say fine without thinking about it and then go on with your day, but actually to be like, I woke up with a headache and I just can't shake this, and just be real. At the beginning of every class we have at Thrive, we do a check-in, which is kind of borrowed from group therapy, where we're like, how's your body? How's your mind? And it is literally okay to say whatever you want. Like, my mind feels great. Sometimes we use a stoplight. Are you green, yellow, red, or chartreuse, somewhere in between, hot orange, whatever. And
Stiletto the other day said, I don't want to be here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, cool.
Yeah. And you can, and acknowledging both, like your brain can be green. You can be happy to sit in the circle with your, friends and teammates, but your body might feel red. It might be terrible, or vice versa. And I love just setting the tone in every class with knowing how everybody is showing up really that day. Not with any like judgment attached to it, but like, if you tell me you slept terrible and you have a headache and we're boxing partners that day, I'm going to check in with you and be like, are you okay? Do you need to take a break? Like, it's going to positively shape the way that I interact with you. And, and give you permission to be like, actually, I've had enough. I'm going to sit this one out. And have your partner be like, cool, good job listening to your body. Like, that's the kind of things that we want to normalize.
Yeah. So I do freelance. I'm like a freelance designer and stuff. And so I also help manage social media accounts. And that's something I've really noticed lately as well in social media, and how the authenticity factor, how like people are craving that now. So it's like the stuff that used to be super filtered and like these reels perfectly edited and stuff. No one's engaging with those anymore because that's just not what they're wanting. They want to see that picture with you with a messy bun. And yeah, like maybe the caption is like, feel like shit today, but hey, I'm still here, yo. Because that's all of us. That's like, we go through that all the time. And so it's just funny that you brought that up, because I'm like, yeah, I'm like seeing it also digitally with people, that they're just not engaging with certain content anymore because it's just not real. It's not authentic anymore. So. Well, I wanted to talk about briefly, we have a candle with you guys, the Athena candle. So the main reason I want to talk about it was for what the money is going towards, I think is really important. But yeah, at Wicked Obscura, we have been wanting to do a lot for the Northern Kentucky community. So we have a candle for the NKY Pride Center that we do. And your guys' center was really important to me because, again, I also went through a traumatic experience in my life. And so I wanted to, with what little that I could, donate to you guys to help support your guys' facility and to keep this education, to keep this center for people to feel safe, that they can come in and grow or just hang out. It's like whatever they need. So we created the Athena candle because the goddess Athena to me is such an empowering, strong goddess. And I thought she would just be so perfect and fitting with your guys' company. So could you tell the listeners about 15% of each candle purchase goes to your guys' organization. So could you tell them about what that is going to be funding for you guys?
Absolutely. So we have a program called Sponsor a Warrior, and because it was really important to Lindsey and I that like safety or community or those should never be luxury items. So like for every class we have a sliding scale where people can choose what they can pay based on their budget. Or if even that is beyond their reach, then if they reach out to us, like we'll just we will figure it out. Whatever that means for them, whatever is comfortable. We've had people, donate a box of tampons that we pass along to Esperanza. We've had people just show up. It's fine. Like we truly want anyone who wants to be there to be able to come. So the money that we get from the Athena candles, and also we do a 5K the first Saturday in October, that funds Sponsor Warrior. So all that goes into a pot. And every time somebody reaches out to us and says, I really want to take self-defense, but I can't afford it. Or, I really want to be on your boxing team, but I don't have, money. That allows us to say, no problem, just show up, it's covered. And never have to worry about if that means we can't pay the electric bill, so it supports us supporting them to just be like, no problem, come in, there's no cost to you. Some people, for reasons of, just like feeling like they deeply want to contribute or, feeling pride about, having something given to them. Like we totally get that. So in those cases, if people are like, I can't come for free, then we'll be like, throw $5 in the community box at the, or bring some snacks, bake some cookies, basically whatever lets you feel like you're contributing to the, community in some way, but it does not have to be a financial contribution. So yeah, that's what the money allows us to do is, we also have partnerships with, the Ion Center for Violence Prevention and Women Helping Women. And they often refer, women who are living in shelter, and women who are living in shelter never pay anything.
Yeah.
So that helps provide classes for them too.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you for really laying that out and explaining that. We are towards the end of our interview. And so I just wanted to leave this with you guys. If there was anything else that was weighing on you that you feel like you really want to communicate with listeners, I think you guys did a wonderful job at really painting a picture of your guys' community center. And hopefully there will be some new people that come to stop by and engage in your guys' classes.
I think the only thing I want to say is just walk through the door. Like the first day is always going to be the hardest. I think had Lauren and I not walked through the door a decade ago, our lives would be completely different now. So just take that first step and just walk through the door. It's terrifying, but it's going to be okay. Just let yourself have your first day.
Yeah. And I guess my parting, piece of advice or support would be to circle back to something that Lindsey said earlier. I know that when we're struggling with something, the tendency for so many people, myself included, is to isolate. We kind of just want to hibernate and go within ourselves. And, sometimes that's necessary, to heal. But Lindsey said earlier, and it comes from Dr. Judith Herman, who is one of the experts in trauma psychology. Trauma often happens and or thrives in isolation. Healing must happen in community. We are social beings, having that safe, positive connection just cannot be underestimated. So we've really tried to have such a variety of things that even if you are not interested in martial arts or combat sports or anything at all, there's a Stitch and Bitch on Sunday morning. There's a book club. There's a writing circle. We have all kinds of things. So there is a path to healing if somebody out there is listening and is struggling. And there are very creative ways to support that healing. So, come and try, reach out to us. And if you just want to come give it a try, we welcome you with open arms.
Awesome. Guys, thank you so much for making some time for me. I know we rescheduled a lot, but I really appreciate it. It was just really great hanging out with you guys. And hopefully when I come back I am actually going to be coming back to the US in June. So I'll make sure to stop by and see you guys because I know that it's been a while. And maybe I'll do a class. I'll see what's going on. Yes. So, but yeah, thank you guys so much. And I hope that you guys have a really good rest of your day. And, especially with the phone ringing a lot, sounds like you guys you got a lot going on. So
yeah, I don't know what's going on, but thank you so much, Kayla. This has been awesome.
Yeah, it's so great to see your face again. We've missed you. It's good to reconnect. Thank you for this opportunity. And we don't have a Reiki master anymore. So let us know when you get back.
Yeah, I'll email you. Maybe that can be something I can do while I'm there. So okay. I have a friend of mine has my massage table there. Like he uses it when I'm not there. So yeah, maybe we'll work something out. So
okay. Would love to see you again.
This podcast is brought to you by Mind Junk Creative, a creative agency that brings your wildest ideas to life. They dig through your mind junk to uncover those throwaway thoughts and turn them into bold, unforgettable brand stories. Ready to discover your story? Head over to mindjunkcreative.com and give them a follow on Instagram for all the creative goodness. I want to give a huge thank you to Lindsey and Lauren for the powerful work they do through Thrive Empowerment and for sharing their mission with us today. If you'd like to support Thrive and the life-changing programs they offer, head over to thriveselfdefense.com to learn more, sign up for a class, or make a donation. And if you're a fan of candles and causes, Wicked Obscura has partnered with Thrive through our Athena candle. Named after the goddess of wisdom and courage, this scent is infused with bergamot, neroli, and lavender, and 15% of your purchase goes directly towards helping fund Thrive's programs. You can find it now at wickedobscura.com. Light a candle, support a cause, and let's keep empowering one another. Thanks for listening. Until next time, stay bold, stay creative, and stay empowered. And hey, don't forget to keep coming back to our website for all the latest updates from our incredible guests on Creative Junk. Trust me, you've got some seriously juicy stuff lined up just for you. If you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? You can find me on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And hey, drop a review and share it with your friends. I will seriously be forever grateful. Got thoughts on today's episode or must-hear stories? You can hit me up at hello@creativejunkpodcast.com. You know that I love hearing from you all. Until then, stay creative and keep rocking, folks. Did you love this episode? Let's keep the creative vibes flowing on Instagram and Facebook. We'll dish about the latest interviews, swap wild ideas, and catch up on all the creative madness. Plus, head over to creativejunkpodcast.com for show notes and all the juicy resources your creative soul craves. Thank you for hanging out with me. Let's keep the creative party going. And hey, thank you for listening.